Hello everyone! Today we're going to be looking at this double-sided 8x8 vault cave door that I built in Minecraft Bedrock Edition. This thing is 18 blocks wide, 15 blocks tall, and 9 blocks deep with a total volume of 2,430 blocks, which is incredibly small. I actually think it might be the smallest one in Bedrock Edition, but then again, there's probably only 3 or 4 that have ever been built. And this door is pretty much layout size. The only way to make it smaller is by getting rid of this layer at the bottom, or by changing up the piston layout, but that would make the door wider. I designed this door with the intention of it being relatively fast, with not too large of a volume, and it's only by chance that I was able to keep it this small. So let's go ahead and look at the door in action. Here we have the closing sequence. As you can see, it is incredibly fast, and it closes nice and evenly on both sides. I just haven't built a frame around the back, and if we go back to the front, we can go ahead and look at the opening sequence. So there you have the opening, and as you can see, it's also incredibly fast, and this is largely because of the layout that I'm using. The layout that I'm using also lets you have the same blocks on the front and back. So these blocks in the middle, they're the ones that are going to be seen on the front side and on the back side, which also makes the door much, much thinner. Now, if we compare this to my previous design, you will notice that there's quite a few differences. First of all, the layout that I'm using for the side in the previous design, I'm not sure why, but I really wanted to avoid using slime, which is pretty ridiculous because literally the entire rest of the door was pretty much based off of slime and honey. So I scrapped that idea and made these double piston extenders slime-based, and my goodness, is it so much faster and cheaper. Secondly, you will notice that there's no flashing blocks, and that is also because of the extenders that I'm using on the side. One more thing that I really like about this door is that it is incredibly straightforward. And what do I mean by this? I'm talking about the building techniques used when building this. There's no entities in here, there's no weird clocks, there isn't even a single comparator in this build. These are all of the redstone components used in the door, and if you want to include all of the blocks used, then you just need to add glass, levers, obsidian, and building blocks. That is literally it. And finally, you will notice that it's just smaller altogether, and well, that's what 1 year of improvement in redstone does to you. That is pretty much going to sum up the showcase, and now let's move on to the explanation. The wiring for this door is really straightforward, so I'm going to pretty much only explain the layout. Right here, we can see a bunch of different colors, and pretty much what each color corresponds to is a different extender. So in blue, we have the blocks that are attached directly to pistons. In green, we have those that are attached to the double piston extenders. In orange, those to the triples, and in red, those to the quadruple piston extenders. And when you look at everything separately, it looks like this. There we go. So you can see how the blocks in red are the last ones to be retracted. The ones in green and blue are done pretty much instantly in less than a full second, as well as the ones in orange, although they do take a tiny bit longer. Now, the reason for which these quadruple piston extenders, or the pistons in red, take so much longer is because pretty much every single other extender works off of this principle, where you have extension, and then retraction and retraction. But for the quadruple piston extender, since it's just pushing so much more, it has to work differently. Here is the layout for the quadruple piston extender. Now, it is not too complicated, I can promise you that. If you have minimal redstone experience, you can probably figure out how to wire this up. Granted, the size may not be too small, but you'll be able to do it nonetheless. Start off by activating this, then this, then this, then you activate this piston right here, but you may notice that, hey, there is no way to power it. You can't just simply power a block like over here. So what you do in this case is you activate this and then this. For the retraction, it's going to be the opposite. So you start off by retracting these two, retract, retract, extend and retract these two, and then extend and retract. So it is pretty much the same thing, except in the opposite direction, and there's going to be 2 extra extensions that you need to make. Now, if we go to the other side, you will notice that there's these blocks right here that need to be pushed back forward. So we just have these pistons, and those will bring them back to us. That is really the simplest and easiest way of doing it. So it's because of those few extra piston movements that the blocks in the center take a tiny bit longer to retract than the rest of them. But that doesn't mean that it's slow, it's still pretty fast. The only thing that's really left to explain are these triple piston extenders, and you'll notice that they are really simple. If you look at the layout, you can probably figure it out instantly, and I just have a setup like this one going on. So notice that there will be blocks up here, so you can actually power this block, and there's nothing too fancy you need to do. You can just use redstone torch. Pretty much activate, activate, and activate, and then retract, retract, and retract. And just like we did up there, there's obviously going to be blocks that are going to be brought down like this and just need to be pushed back up. Once again, same thing applies to the double piston extender, and that is pretty much it on the explanation for the piston layout. With the showcase and explanation out of the way, that is unfortunately the end of today's video. As always, I'm open down to questions in the comments section, and I know most of you guys are probably going to want a tutorial, so I will try to work on that. I don't know if I'll get to it or not, especially with how messed up my upload schedule has been lately, but I will make you guys one deal. And it is a pretty big thing, but if I ever go more than 2 months without uploading, you guys got this world. I will put my world for downloads if I go more than 2 months without uploading again. So, yeah, I guess there's my motivation now. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you all next time. Bye!